When traveling, how do I eat? How do I train? Prior to that, when I travel with this because this actually is creating blood flow to areas when I'm seated, especially if I didn't get upgraded and I'm in a crunched up economy seat and I'm jammed in there, I am bound up and tight. And if I can get blood flow to those areas that aren't getting a whole lot of blood flow, I don't feel like I just flew or just drove 6 hours or however long I just drove. This is a must for anybody doing any traveling. So that said, the other part about what I do is when I fly, I typically do not eat airline food or eat at airports. There are a few airports, San Francisco, LA, there's probably a couple more, including I think Dallas. They've got some decent places to eat, okay, to where you can get some high quality food. High quality meaning it is going to be lots of veggies. I'm not going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. I don't eat breads, I don't eat pastas, I don't eat a lot of the stuff, so I need lots of veggies. I need clean meats that are humanely raised, that are being thought, the process isn't a very stressed out animal. And if I can't get that, I bring things like my friend Laird Hamilton's Laird Superfood, where he has got fats for coffee that have literally been dehydrated, so that he's got a powder and he's got these pastes that are actually butters, coconut oil, and red palm oil that are all into these packages that you can just actually empty into your coffee, or even warm water if you want to do warm water, and you can get fueling through that avenue. So that's actually something I do. He actually has something that's actually very brilliant and is probably going to make him lots of money, and I'm not getting paid a dime for this, which is called InstaFuel, which is actually a high quality, it's the highest quality instant coffee I have ever had, mixed with coconut oil, butter, and red palm oil. And it's a hell of a combination, and all you need is hot water. You don't need to order the airline coffee, you don't need to order Starbucks coffee. You can actually have high quality coffee mixed with high quality ingredients, and that's all I'll use on any flight. Like, even flights up to 10 hours. I just don't want to touch the food. It's just too much of a hassle. I don't think that the food is being prepared properly, so I stay away from that. Nutritionally, when I get somewhere, I look for either a Whole Foods or some sort of farmer's type market store that has high quality sources of food. I go there and either shop or I just go through the salad bar options. The training aspect of what I do is I have learned over the last decade that although I like to train and I like to do a lot, sometimes I'm doing 3 or 4 things in a day, right? Like in terms of what people may call training, right? I have to pay attention to my stress levels. Traveling can be stressful. Getting to a new time zone can be stressful. Being on a new time zone can be stressful. Working when you're on a new time zone can be stressful. So I pay attention to a lot of this stuff. And depending on how I sleep, how well I've mitigated or dealt with my nutrition, I then base it off of how I feel and what I feel like doing when I'm on the road. This just so happens to be the same thing I do at home too, except I've got home really, I've got it navigated really well. Like, I understand how to keep my stress levels low enough, or when they get too high, I just don't train. I have to understand that process because I don't like being sick. I don't like cooking myself or being angry, which are all signs that I've done too much or I'm not sleeping enough, and just taking stress and putting more stress on top of that does not equal happiness. That's called, that's like kind of a definition of insanity. It's just like repeating the same thing over and over and then expecting to be better off when you don't get better off, and then you might pull this off for some time, but then all of a sudden you hit a roadblock walk and you're a mess, right? And you get sick. Your immune system should be able to handle flying, should be able to handle traveling, it should be able to handle all this stuff. If you are getting colds and getting sick all the time, your immune system sucks, and you need to learn how to boost that back up and pay more attention to your stress levels, because stress is the largest part of this. So I mitigate my training based off of how much stress. Typically, it might just be a lifting session or going for a shorter run, like maybe less than 30 minutes of a run, or just some small lifting session, because I'm usually working when I go somewhere. And that allows me to get just enough and regulate my sleeping, regulate everything else, and feel in a good place. So there's kind of my strategies on travel.